We've been involved in self-direction for 20 years. The in-home care, or self-directed, if you will, allows Rob to have more freedom because he can choose where he wants to go, what he wants to do, when he wants to do it. You know, we work together to try to accomplish that. Rob sustained a head injury while in college. During an actual baseball game, players slid into another player and cleated them, and Rob stepped outside the front of the dugout and was watching what was going on the field while the opposing player was up at home plate swinging a bat, and somehow it came out of his hands and come across and struck the fence and catapulted off the fence and struck Rob in the right temple. As time progressed, the brain started collapsing because of the pressure, and Rob started becoming dizzy, blurry vision, headache. So they took him to the hospital there in Conway, Arkansas. While filling out the paperwork for admittance, he collapsed, and they took him in and done a scan and realized that he was in serious trouble. When that occurred, that there was no neurosurgeon in Conway that was available. They had to med flight him to Little Rock UMS Medical. From the time that he sustained the injury to the time that he was able to receive any level of care was a considerable length of time. You know, Rob went through an initial craniotomy, which was to relieve the pressure off of his brain, and they felt like they had all of that accomplished, only to find out that he was still building pressure. And so they hadn't stopped all the bleeding like they thought. So they had to go back in for a second surgery on his brain. That's when he had this brainstem stroke. The reason that he's in the condition he's in is because of the stroke that he had during all of this process. Rob was at UMS Medical for several weeks in a coma. That was a pretty hard time. We did make our way through that. You know, as you can see, Rob's still with us. You know, they said that Rob probably wouldn't be able to know anything or be able to do anything. And so we probably needed to find long-term facility for him. That's what got us on the path of self-directed. We had some really wonderful people that were helping us at the time. Rob transitioned from UMS Medical into Baptist Rehab, where he was in their coma rehabilitation program. We were there for how long, Rob, at Baptist Rehab? 4 months. My wife and I were with him the whole time, you know, while he was in the hospital there at UMS and also at Baptist. We were granted the miracle that Rob was coming back to us with his mind and fully intact. And my wife and I, our prayer was that he would make it, and he did. Our commitment was to care for him.
My body is mostly bereft of value, but my mental acuity remains undiminished.
Right. It's been challenging but rewarding. Through his experience, we've been able to help others. Rob's continued to build his network. You know, he still has college friends. He interacts with them pretty routinely. And we also have, you know, the network of doctors that are very supportive. The self-directed gives us more flexibility in our hours that we do things. The biggest advantage of that is it allowed us to stay on the self-directed as opposed to having to switch to agency care. For self-directed, you have the flexibility of managing multiple caregivers.
From my view, I know I'm more comfortable in my house than an institution.
We were directed to the PPL Connect link by our PPL representative, Brittany Hobson. The advantages to the PPL Connect: it allows us to stay on self-directed as opposed to agency care. And the self-directed gives us more flexibility in our hours that we do things. It gives us a bit more flexibility too with our caregiver, our helper, if you will. We are able to work around her schedule as well, because she has a schedule just like we do, and she has a family dynamic and a life. You never really know how life's going to turn out, so you just have to take it and roll with it. And I do believe that the self-directed in-home care allows you to do that. Gives you the opportunity to have the choice at least to do it.
No one has it any easier or more difficult than others. They just have it different.
We do it together. You know, we have the right attitudes. We have the physical ability so far. You know, I'm still holding up okay. Rob has to keep me on task. You know, he's my checklist guy. I feel like we're going to continue to do that. Don't you? Yeah. I think so.